Welcome to the Goody Room.
Weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN New Hampshire Radio. Streaming live on ESPNNewHampshireRadio.com.
So what? So what? So let's dance.
Now, here's Christian Arcand and Tom King.
Well, good afternoon. Christian and King here, ESPN New Hampshire, streaming live on the ESPN radio app and on ESPNNHradio.com. My name is Christian Arcand, and I will be flying solo with you today and all week long as Tom King is on vacation. And I'll be honest, I think the big guy needed a break, and he's getting one. Don't know where he is right now, but I'm sure he's somewhere with a smile on his face and a cheeseburger in his hand. And we will be flying solo without him until next Monday, a week from today, is Tom King's return date. But there is lots and lots to talk about. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm not that upset that Tom's not here, because I'd be hearing a lot of crap about my turning point stuff after the Yankees series. And it just got worse and worse. Again, the Red Sox last night, they get you, you know? I mean, they get you thinking, okay, here we go. 5-run comeback in the 7th inning against a depleted Baltimore bullpen. Here come the Red Sox. You know, they've had it up to here with this crap this season, and they're just taking it. They're going to come back, and they're going to be like they were last year. And finally, we're going to see some glimpses of that 2013 championship team and that championship offense. And what do? They blow it in the 12th. And let me tell you something. They should have won that game in 9 innings. I don't know what was going on with this team. They just find new ways to lose every single day, it seems like. They'll throw in a win here and there just to keep, you know, people from completely jumping off the bandwagon, even though I'm already gone. Sorry, forget it. Last place in the East? No, please. Give me a break. 10 games under 500 on July 7th? No way. This is over. And we'll talk about what the next steps are first, but I'm not quite done dumping on this team yet. Did you happen to see some of the base running decisions that were made by the Boston Red Sox yesterday? My word. Dustin Pedroia stealing second base. Why? What possibly would have compelled you to do that? Pedroia. And he got thrown out, by the way. But it just what possibly would have made him think, or John Farrell, if he made the order for that steal, that was a good idea with David Ortiz at the plate. And I believe a tie game. Yeah, they're probably going to walk him, guys. You know, why would you steal the base? Even if you stay on first base, they're probably going to walk David Ortiz. If you do steal the base, they are definitely going to walk David Ortiz. I mean, they were probably not going to give him anything to hit anyway. And yet, there goes Dustin Pedroia, you know, hustling down the line, getting gunned down at second base. And then in extra innings, David Ortiz goes opposite field. Great shot to the opposite field. Tries to stretch that into a double. And he gets thrown out by about a mile, maybe, I think. Maybe a little less than a mile. That might be exaggerating a bit. Maybe it was like 3/4 of a mile. He was out by a lot, okay? And the worst part of that one was, ladies and gentlemen, is that he was hustling out of the box. He was hustling the whole way. And just not even close to getting to second base. I mean, it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. They had a lot of errors this weekend in the field, which overshadowed the fact that Jackie Bradley Jr. is an absolute freaking stud in center field. I'm sorry. That guy, watching that guy play center field is marvelous. I almost want to take, and he's actually hitting a little bit right now too, which is nice to see as well. But I mean, my God. When the highlight of the weekend, again, is a couple of catches and throws from center field in games that the Red Sox should have won, but didn't. And they did win one, okay. They won the day game of the day-night doubleheader. And you sort of thought, okay, maybe this is going to be something now. But no, they lose the night game. And then yesterday, they have this brilliant comeback in the 7th inning, where the offense finally looks like a championship offense. And not even a championship offense. The offense just looks like an offense. You know, like an offense that goes out and hits baseballs sometimes. And can string a few of those sort of hits together when men get on base. And then drive them from the base to home plate. You know, like an offense. It looked like an offense. It was really happening. And no, not quite. Just enough to keep us interested, and then boom, they blow it in the 12th inning. Giving up leadoff triples. and then being unable to do anything after that. Except, well, David Ortiz got a nice little shot to the opposite field before getting absolutely gunned down at second base. And here we are, 10 games under 500. July 7th, 2014. And I ask you, Red Sox Nation of New Hampshire, is there anything worth watching anymore? Do you care about this team anymore? Do these guys, when you know that the game's on, do you even bother putting it on in the background at this point? How important was the Red Sox to you this weekend? I know it was a long vacation weekend and everything, and that people were probably out doing vacation things. But, you know, even in those circumstances, you still have a radio on for the game, or you have it on inside, and people come in to get out of the sun and, you know, check out the game, pop in on the score. Was anyone even doing that? New Hampshire? Were you even doing that? Did that matter? And I'm not judging you one way or another. I'm just asking because I had to, obviously. I'm watching because I do this for a living. But I'm saying for fans out there, Red Sox fans, casual baseball fans, even not-so-casual fans, are you invested in this team at all? And if so, why, I guess, is my main question. I could probably predict some of these answers. Well, they won the World Series last year. You know, I'm not just going to give up on them yet. Maybe they still got a run on them. Hey, the pitching staff's not bad. You know, it's just the offense has to pick it up. All of those things, totally valid excuses and totally valid reasons to continue watching this team and hoping that they turn things around. And to be honest with you, I don't think you're all that wrong either. I mean, what have I been saying this whole time? The Red Sox are bad, but they're only as bad as the rest of the division. And the rest of the division's pretty bad too, which makes them not so bad. On the other hand, you're getting dangerously close to the bottom here. You've been passed in the American League East by the Tampa Bay Rays, who, I mean, we've seen the Tampa Bay Rays this season. It's one of the few teams the Red Sox can handle. They've been occupying the bottom slot down there, and not even the bottom slot of the American League East, the bottom slot of the American League, period, for much of the last month and a half. And you're still not at the bottom of the American League. That honor belongs to the Houston Astros, as I think we all sort of assumed that it would. And guess who else is behind you, too? The Texas Rangers. How about them? How about the Rangers? One thing that should make you feel a little bit better about this is the fact that the Rangers are right there with you. And they're just about as bad, and they didn't win the World Series last year. Because, as Ron Washington will tell you, winning the World Series...
It's incredibly hard.
That's right, Ron Washington. It is incredibly hard to win the World Series, especially for you and your team. And you sort of look over there, and there's kind of the same issues, you know, in Texas. One big stud pitcher, but the rest of the rotation's not quite as good. I'd say that's sort of the issue here, too. Outside of John Lester and John Lackey, the Red Sox rotation has been good to bad, I'd say. Between good and bad. No one's been great. Some guys have been good. I'd say right around mediocre is where the rest of that rotation has been. The bullpen has been phenomenal. And there are actually some pretty decent chips in this bullpen here if you're really talking about gutting this team and blowing everything up, which, unfortunately, lots of people are. We're going to talk with a couple of people today. Dave Laurila will jump on with us at 2:05. Dave Laurila from Fangraphs, who will be at the game today. Red Sox taking on the White Sox in what is sure to be another painful series. And we'll chat with him about exactly what these trade pieces are, what the value is of some of these players on this team, and what they might be able to fetch in return. Trade value, I think, is going to be the big phrase of the day. And I'm interested in seeing what sort of trade value these guys have, what the perception is around baseball, and what the perception is among Red Sox fans. I mean, a lot of times you tend to overvalue your own guys, but I don't think that's going to be happening this year. I don't think anyone's going to be overvaluing some of these players just in the look at the result, look at what they've done together. I mean, yes, they did win a World Series last year, and it seems like so long ago, doesn't it? I mean, this season seems like it's been going on for 3 seasons already. It's been a very, very long, drawn-out, tedious, painful season. And I just don't see any light at the end of the tunnel here. What I do see is what Gordon Needs wrote about today, as a matter of fact, on ESPN Boston, which is it's probably about time to disassemble this project and build for next year. And not even really build for next year. I think it's time to start building down the road a little bit. I mean, that's what we're looking at here. That's what we're looking at with some of these guys. John Lester is going to be gone. He's not going to be around next year. The rotation without Lester is just shrouded in question marks. John Lackey, we don't know what's going on there with his weird contract next season, if he's going to retire, if he's going to look elsewhere, if he's going to I don't know what he's going to do. It's certainly another big question mark on a team that can't really afford to have too many question marks, especially not in one of their strengths, which is their top two starting pitchers, John Lester and John Lackey, who have been very consistent for you this year, and you would hope can at least be around until they start declining. With John Lester, I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're just sunk with Lester. You keep him around here as long as you can, maybe try and move him. I don't know who's going to want to trade for a guy that is then going to be till the end of the season for a rental, and then you have to sign him to a big, big contract. But someone might. There might be a team out there who thinks they're just one big starting pitcher away from a deep playoff run, and they'll deal with the contract later. If you can find somebody like that, I hate to say it, but now might be the time to start looking in that direction. We're getting close to the trade deadline, folks. I mean, this is the way these things work. You ready to say goodbye to John Lester? Even if you're not, I think you better get ready. I think that's what we're about to see. You're definitely going to say goodbye to him at the end of the season. So are you ready to say goodbye a couple months early? Is it worth trying to keep them around, keep this pitching staff intact, and go all out trying to get one of those last two wild card spots? I say no. I don't think that this team is a lack of effort. I don't think they've put it all together. Of course, they certainly haven't. Not even close. But it's not like they're going out there and dogging it. And that's really what's so frustrating about this. In 2012, they had a lousy manager. They had a bunch of kids up. And I'm not talking about Xander Bogaerts and Jackie Bradley Jr. I'm talking about Mauro Gomez and Pedro Siriaco and like these guys who were just filling in roster spots and getting at bats. That was it. And it's not that they weren't trying in so much. It's just that you knew that even them all trying max effort, everything clicking, you're getting a last-place team. This is not the case this year. I mean, Pedroia's here. Ortiz is here. Napoli's here. Nava's here. What's the problem? One problem is the outfield. The overall offense in general, I think, has just been so bad. Although it does seem to be picking things up a little bit lately, especially over on the left side of the infield, stage left. Pedroia and Napoli both seem to be hitting better in the last month, whereas on the right side of the infield, oh my good Lord, in the last month, Xander Bogaerts, 110 average, on base is 146. Stephen Drew, not much better. His batting average is 153 with the on base of 164. Xander slugging 143 and Drew slugging 278. Let me repeat those numbers real quick. Xander Bogaerts in the last month has been slugging 143, whereas Stephen Drew has been slugging 278, which is a good almost 50% better than Bogaerts at 278. I mean, just think about this. Think about how bad it's gotten. And you sort of look over at and Eads posted this today about some of the possible trading chips that the Red Sox have, and Stephen Drew was one of them. And I did a double take. I said, no, that can't be. Who's going to trade for Stephen Drew and his $10 million if this is the sort of offense he gives you? Well, he says, Stephen Drew, and this is the quote from the article, Stephen Drew, the shortstop, given $10 million in return to the Sox, would fill the void created with the injury to Will Middlebrooks, has failed to do so, at least within the time frame in which it would have meant something. The Sox might have to eat much of the salary, but Drew's defense has currency on the market. Does it? The Red Sox eat $7 million, maybe it does. But I can't even imagine a team that is so desperate for a good defensive shortstop, which Stephen Drew is, in fairness, that they would let go of anything, of any marginal value, to acquire that. Unless the Red Sox ate almost all of the money. And if they did, if trading Stephen Drew for nothing is really something you're trying to do, and you have to pay all the money, and then move Xander Bogaerts back to shortstop, I don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe Xander Bogaerts should be at shortstop, and that was a big mistake to move him in the first place. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe Xander Bogaerts is not quite the surefire stud we all thought he was. And that's very easy to say when he's in the middle of one of the worst hitting slumps I've ever seen anybody have ever, let alone a can't-miss prospect playing in the majors. But, I mean, this is bad. What we're seeing from him is bad. And I'm not one to say you got to give up on a guy like Xander Bogaerts, but, man, this all happened pretty quickly, didn't it? We saw him hit very well in the playoffs last season. And we all got very excited by it. And he even had a little hot streak this year. The hot streak mostly coming after the Drew signing was made official. And while Stephen Drew was in the minor leagues rehabbing to come back to the majors, Xander Bogaerts was hitting. And right as Drew got up here, Bogaerts fell off the face of the earth, and he has been reaching ever since then to try and grab onto something. He's like those astronauts floating in space in that movie with Sandra Bullock. I forget what it's called. Contact? I don't know, whatever it was. The movie with the astronauts. And that's basically where we're at right now. The Boston Red Sox season has just been one disappointment after another. And at some point, you just got to wonder, with some of these guys at the plate, where's the pride? Where's taking some pride in being a professional and just going up there and being an automatic out over and over and over again? Stephen Drew, I mean, have a little pride in yourself. A.J. Pierzynski, my God. Pierzynski's numbers in the last month? 197 batting average, 232 on base, slugging 224. Yeah, that's about where we're at. Johnny Gomes in the last month, hitting 237, getting on base at a 318 clip, which is extraordinary for this team these days, and slugging 237. The only guy who's had a good month is Daniel Nava since he's come back up. He's had 83 plate appearances, and is hitting very well. His on-base percentage is up over 422, with a 375 slugging percentage and hitting 333. So Nava gets a pass. Napoli gets a pass. Pedroia has picked things up a little bit. I wouldn't say necessarily that he gets a pass because he's still hitting third, and batting third with the slugging percentage and overall numbers that he's put up this year is just not at all what you need from your number 3 hitter. And David Ortiz he's having his worst year in 5 years, but it's still better than everybody else. So, I mean, at some point you sort of have to look up and down this roster and just agree that the bottom half of this lineup is never really going to be good. It's just not going to happen. You're okay with the top spots. You're okay with Brock Holt. You're okay with Pedroia. At least he'll hit some singles. You're okay with Ortiz. You're okay with Mike Napoli. After that, I mean, my God. I wouldn't feel comfortable or trust any of these guys up at bat in a big situation. The funniest thing about that 7th inning rally yesterday was that you're just watching it and thinking, okay, rally's over. Nope, bloop single. All right, rally's over now. Here comes Drew. Rally's definitely over now. All right, here comes Pierzynski. Now the rally's over. All right, here comes this guy. And Pierzynski wouldn't play yesterday, I know. But, like, it's, you just kept expecting someone to come up and kill the rally. And when they didn't, it was like, oh, okay. Well, all right, maybe this will be something. And then it was, and they tied the game. And then, nope, not quite. Need you to take the lead there, guys. That way Koji can come in and get the save rather than just extend the game 2 more innings. No Red Sox on the All-Star team except John Lester. No Pedroia, no Ortiz. Koji Uehara will be an All-Star alternate as well, John Farrell said. How does that make you feel? I mean, even when they're really bad, you feel like there's a couple of Red Sox just get voted in because of the fans. I don't know. I think the fans are sort of getting on my side here. What are you, an All-Star? You want to be an All-Star? Really? Okay, All-Star. How come we're 10 games under 500? It's tough. It's going to be a long, long summer with this team, I think. No matter what happens. Big trade, sure. But it's not going to be a trade, I hate to tell you, that's going to improve this team now. They're not going to be buyers here. Red Sox are not in any position to be buyers. They're going to be sellers. And what they have to sell looks a little something like this. John Lester. What can you get for him? Koji Uehara. Got to send him somewhere. Guy's going to be 40. He's not getting that many save opportunities. And as nice as it is to have a reliever come in the 9th inning of a tie game and keep it a tie game going into the 10th and the 11th and the 12th or whatever, that's not really that important to these guys right now. The lead is what you need. And if you can't get a lead, don't really need the closer that much. Sure, there's plenty of teams out there that would love a dominant closer like Koji Uehara, which is what he is. According to Gordon Eads, Johnny Gomes at the end of his contract. Got to be a team out there that could use a right-handed bat and a nice clubhouse presence. Meh. He lists the Mariners with a question mark. David Ross and A.J. Pierzynski could prove useful additions elsewhere, according to Gordon Eads. Ross for his defense, Pierzynski for the bat. The bat that has been disappearing here, but might give someone else 2 good months down the stretch. What in God's name could you possibly expect to get for David Ross and or A.J. Pierzynski? And let's remember them for a second as I go down the rest of this list. Jake Peavy has made back-to-back quality starts with his spot in the rotation. Basically up in the air every time Ruby De La Rosa or Brandon Workman has a scheduled start. I think it's definitely a great possibility that Jake Peavy gets moved sometime in the next couple of weeks. Relievers always in demand at the deadline. According to Eads, Craig Breslow, Burke Badenhop, and Edward Mujica might attract some interest. Breslow, maybe. Badenhop, definitely. Mujica, are you kidding me? Who the hell wants Edward Mujica for anything? Edward Mujica might be the biggest bust the Red Sox made this offseason, and that's really saying something. Is there anybody left that's untouchable? I mean, even the young guys. Is Xander Bogaerts untouchable for the right trade? No, I don't think so. Is Jackie Bradley Jr. untouchable? Come on. Great defensive center fielder. Absolutely. Love watching him play center field. But is he untouchable because of that? No. Of course not. And I just can't believe it's come to this. I really can't. Did I expect them to do what they did last year? No. But did I expect them to go from worst to first back to worst again? Who does that? These aren't losers on this team. There are players on this team with winning pedigrees. Dustin Pedroia is a winner. John Lester's a winner. John Lackey's a winner. David Ortiz is a winner. Mike Napoli is a winner. There's lots of guys on this team that have the pedigree for it. And there's just nothing. Can't salvage anything. You're going to have to blow this team up. That's what it's going to come to. It's too late. July 7th, I'm sorry. 10 games under 500? Third worst record in the American League? Yeah, I'm sorry. It's too late, folks. The rest of the league may be bad, but you're not jumping over every single one of those teams. There's other teams that got runs in them. You know, they'll go on a hot streak. I'm not sure if the Red Sox are one of them. If they do, great. But will it be enough to jump over all those other teams? I mean, that's asking a lot. They're going to have to get really good while almost every other team in the AL continues to be really bad. And I just think the odds of that are way too long. Just no way that can happen. 603-883-9900, your phone number, 883-9900. Shoot me a text message over at 50352. It's Christian and King. Christian today flying solo, and for the rest of the week, more on the Red Sox and John Lackey with some ridiculous comments after the game. We'll touch on those next here. We'll be right back. It's Christian and King.
Hey, Lynn, how are you?
Great. It's been a while. You look good.
Thanks. Hey, can you tell? I knocked off a few pounds recently.
Yeah, I mean, you really look good.
Well, I can't take all the credit. I owe it to Dr. Waldman and his cool sculpting.
Who?
Dr. Waldman. He's right on Riverside Street in Nashua. I'm telling you, I never had a hard time with my appearance. I work out, I eat healthy, but I just couldn't get rid of these love handles until I had cool sculpting at Dr. Waldman's.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of Dr. Waldman and the new cool sculpting. The entire staff there is great. They'll sit down with you and consult on exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, they made my cool sculpting experience comfortable and safe. No incisions, no downtime. Plus, I was back at the gym the same night.
And I must say, I like what I see.
Well, then I'll see you for dinner.
Absolutely.
Waldman Plastic Surgery and Dermatology on Riverside Street in Nashua. Make sure to mention this ESPN New Hampshire ad to get a free cool sculpting consultation with Dr. Waldman. Call 603-577-5559 or visit them online at waldmanplasticsurgeryanddermatology.com. That's waldmanplasticsurgeryanddermatology.com.
The Nashua Silver Knights offer the best baseball experience in all of New Hampshire. The tickets are cheap, there's plenty of food and drink available, and the kids absolutely love it. Come down Thursdays for dollar draft nights, every Thursday night throughout the season. There's always fireworks on Friday, plus there's a kid zone and entertainment between innings. It really is a great place to watch a ball game this summer. For scheduling and more information, log on to NashuaSilverKnights.com.
Masa Hibachi, located at 1707 South Willow Street in Manchester, New Hampshire, directly across from the Mall of New Hampshire, is a new modern Asian restaurant with a diverse menu. Masa is a great place to enjoy one of their famous specialty martinis with a friend in their large, spacious lounge area. Dine with a small party or a large party in their state-of-the-art hibachi grill. Their sushi menu is incredible with so much to choose from. Take it from me, Jim Sensabella, my kids and I love it. And you and your family will love it too at the Masa Japanese Hibachi Grill. For reservations of parties of 5 or more, call 603-626-9888. Masa Japanese Hibachi Grill in Manchester, New Hampshire, directly across from the Mall, New Hampshire. The #1 Japanese hibachi grill in the Manchester area.
This is your NBC Sports Radio update.
Turning up the heat in Miami, where Pat Riley is going to meet with LeBron James later this week amidst reports that LeBron is seriously considering a return to Cleveland. And as the wait continues, the Rockets making a serious run at Chris Bosh. The first big domino could fall today with reports that Carmelo Anthony will announce his decision. At the World Cup, Argentina has made its decision. Midfielder Angel Di Maria has been ruled out of Wednesday's match against the Netherlands due to a thigh injury. Brazil, minus Neymar, will meet Germany in the first semifinal match tomorrow. Monday baseball begins tonight in Cleveland with the Tribe taking on the Yankees. Also tonight, the battle for Texas, the Rangers hosting the Astros. Houston has a problem. They've lost 7 in a row. I'm Jeff Biggs, NBC Sports Radio.
And now, another golf confessional brought to you by Golfsmith. To avoid spending the day on the lake, a man told his family it was infested with sharks, so he could go to Hot Deals of Summer at Golfsmith, where you'll find the lowest prices of any golf store, guaranteed. And it's on dry land. During Hot Deals of Summer, save over $110 on a Garmin S1 GPS watch. Now just $139.98. You'll know exactly how far you are from the green and save a lot too. Only at Golfsmith. Anything for golf.
Kid, if something in this facility breaks, bends, or bursts, Grainger's got our back. 20 cases of disc springs from Grainger.com, new rotary encoder ordered on Grainger's mobile app, a dozen splash goggles from the local Grainger branch. What more could you want in life? Grainger has over 1 million products for all our facilities' needs. 1 million. That's a 1 followed by 6 zeros, kid. Everything we need whenever we need it. Get it? Got it? Good. Call, click Grainger.com, or stop by. Grainger, for the ones.
Steak and cheese fans, listen up. Quiznos Subs on Main Street in Nashua just came out with the Vince Special, which is a large spicy steak bomb for only $8.49. You get actual black Angus steak with Genoa salami, mozzarella, sauteed onions and peppers, and chipotle mayo. So grab the Vince Special, large spicy steak bomb today at Quiznos on Main Street in Nashua.
Quiznos Subs. Toasty.
When major sports news breaks or covering play-by-play, ESPN New Hampshire is the #1 place to turn, according to the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters. This is ESPN New Hampshire. Scores, standings, trades, and rumors. This is the ESPN New Hampshire Sports Center.
The Boston Red Sox continue to falter into the summer days as they drop 2 out of 3 to the Baltimore Orioles over the weekend, including yesterday losing 7-6 in 12 innings. One bright spot for the Red Sox has been the defensive play of Jackie Bradley Jr., which manager John Farrell atones to his confidence.
A couple of really key defensive plays today with a catch up against the wall. Throws another guy out at home plate, but playing with much more confidence probably over the last 2 to 3 weeks.
The Red Sox are right back at it again tonight as they begin a 4-game set with the Chicago White Sox. First pitch at 7:10 with pregame at 6:25 right here on ESPN New Hampshire. Over the weekend, the Boston Celtics played their first Summer League game. The C's beat the Heat 85-77, and the number 6 overall pick, Marcus Smart, played very well in his debut with 10 points and 5 steals. Winners of 4 in a row in 10 of their last 11, the New Hampshire Fisher Cats look to continue their hot ways as they play a doubleheader tonight at home versus the New Britain Rock Cats. First pitch, 6:05. The Nashua Silver Knights defeated the Raging Tide 9-4 yesterday. The Silver Knights will be off today, and tune in all week long for chances to win tickets to this Saturday's NASCAR Sprint Series race at Loudon. I'm Rich Flair, and the Sports Center update has been brought to you by Bud Light. Bud Light, the sure sign of a good time.
Christian and King on ESPN New Hampshire, 603-883-9900.
right, back here on Christian and King, 603-883-9900, your phone number, 883-9900. Helpful texter saying that movie with the astronauts is called Gravity. Thank you very much. I knew it was something like that. I couldn't remember what it was called. I never saw it. It looked pretty good. But it was one of those movies, where if you don't see it in the theater, like, who wants to watch a movie about outer space on your home television, You gotta go out to the theater to see a movie like Gravity, and I totally whiffed. I don't see any movies anymore. It sucks. Even when it's like a rainy day, I just don't go. I love movies, too. I just never go out and see them anymore. So, yeah. 603-883-9900. That's your phone number, 883-9900. You can text in 50352. The Red Sox, as Rich Flair just told you, lost 2 out of 3 over the weekend to the Baltimore Orioles. And last night, after the game, and I didn't hear about this until this morning when I actually saw the quote and everything else. John Lackey, who got just destroyed by Nelson Cruz, who had one hell of a series. Nelson Cruz did. What a tremendous free agent signing that was for the Baltimore Orioles. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and turn my phone down there. What a tremendous signing that was. Last night, Nelson Cruz gives you 5 for 5. He's a triple short of the cycle, which he almost got. He got thrown out at third on an attempt to turn a double into a triple. And John Lackey, after the game, was asked about the game that Nelson Cruz had. Now, by the way, keep in mind here that John Lackey pitched when did he last pitch? Lackey's last start, was that game 2 maybe? The 7-4 win? Yes, okay, sorry. So John Lackey, in Game 2, in the night game of the doubleheader, that's when Nelson Cruz went nuts with the 5 for 5 game. And he had just a major weekend all around. So after the game, they asked John Lackey what he thought. And John Lackey, by the way, went 5 1/3, gave up 10 hits, 5 earned runs, and struck out 11, which was nice to see. Nice to see him missing some bats there. But Ubaldo Jimenez, of course, only lasted 3 2/3 innings before getting knocked out of the game. But still, not enough for the Red Sox, as bullpen Baden-Hop didn't do much, and they ended up losing 7-4. So after the game, John Lackey was asked about Nelson Cruz and the big day that he had, and he did have a big day. 5 for 5. Here's what John Lackey had to say.
You usually don't hear those comments.
I'm sorry, that's wrong. Here's what John Lackey had to say.
I'm not even going to comment on him. I got nothing to say about him. There's things I would like to say, but I'm not going to. You guys forget pretty conveniently about stuff.
John Lackey nailing Nelson Cruz about the steroids. In case you couldn't hear, and that wasn't great audio, I apologize. The best I could do there. John Lackey said, I have nothing to say about him. No comment, nothing to say about him. There's things I would like to say about him, but I'm not going to. And he says, you guys sure do forget things very conveniently. To the press gathered, and this is mostly Boston press there. I'm not exactly sure who he's referring to. Who forgets things conveniently? The Red Sox press? Really? We do, John? We forget things? We forget that Nelson Cruz did steroids and got in trouble? I think we all remember that. Are you implying that he's on steroids right now? Because David Ortiz got pointed out, he was named in the Mitchell report, not in the Mitchell report, in the list of the 100 anonymous players. And last year in the World Series, he was hitting like Nelson Cruz was hitting this weekend. Okay? So, I mean, not that I'm saying David Ortiz is on steroids now or that he was last year or anything like that, but John Lackey, what the hell are you doing, you idiot? You don't go. I mean, you got roughed up by Baltimore, okay? No question. You didn't have a great start. Don't go in there start throwing steroids around. I mean, that's just loser talk. He just says just sore loser crap, and I hate that. And Lackey, he's pitching well this year, and Buck Showalter answered. He said, hey, Lackey's having a good year. I don't see what he's upset about. You don't hear him saying these things after a shutout. Nelson Cruz and the steroids. No, only after a game when he hits him. So here's all of Buck Showalter's comments about John Lackey.
You usually don't hear those comments after, a shutout or something. I mean, The guy's doing really well. I mean, he's up throwing 93, 95 again, and he's got one of the top ERAs in American League, which with the DH means in all of baseball. I think everybody needs to make sure that their own backyard's real clean. John, Mike. And, whether there's a lot of things that, you could go into and insinuate. I see the work that Nelson puts in every day. And quite frankly, it's one of those things you just be quiet about, and it reflects poorly on the person who said it.
Absolutely. Oh, my God, did that ever reflect poorly. Lackey, what are you doing, man? Even if everybody in all of Major League Baseball hates Nelson Cruz, which I don't think is true. I think, some people are saying, hey, what the hell, man? You're out there still doing steroids now? Biogenesis? Really? What are you, that stupid? You're going to get steroids, you got to do it the right way. You can't be going down there getting, having your spot blown up by the Miami-Dade Herald or whatever it was. I forget what the pay. It wasn't. I don't even think. Was it the Miami Herald that got it? I know it wasn't Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball had no idea about biogenesis until the Miami Herald busted the story wide open. I think it was the Herald. It might have been one of the lesser known Florida papers, but it might have been the Herald. Anyways, so is everybody in baseball still really mad at all the guys on the biogenesis list? Is that like a thing? Because there was a lot of guys on the list. I mean, they were all spread out all throughout the league. I mean, are people really upset that those guys are still playing? He did serve a suspension, didn't he? If you think everybody who ever gets caught with steroids should be kicked out of the league, fine, that's one thing, Lackey. But if that's the case, well, a lot of your teammates are going to be on that list. Teammates now, former, and beyond. Okay? So, really, you got hit. All right? You got hammered. Don't go out there throwing steroids around. Nelson Cruz, I'd love to talk about. I'd love to say some things about him. What do you want to say about him? That he kicked your ass this weekend? Because he did. It was only because he was on steroids, not because you were missing your spots. He wasn't the only guy who hit you, by the way. Okay, you gave up 10 hits, 5 earned runs. It wasn't all Nelson Cruz. Is the whole team on steroids? I mean, come on, man. That's just, I hate that. I hate that sort of loser talk. And there's nothing worse than when a team's losing is when they start talking loser talk. And Lackey, every once in a while, and when he's gone, and when he's on and he's good, he's great. But when he's not, and when he's out there, gesturing at his outfielders, catch the ball, and, throwing up his hands and sort of throwing guys under the bus, he can be really unlikable. He really can. And he wasn't even throwing a teammate under the bus. He was talking about a guy on the other team. And it's hard to go after a guy on another team and make yourself look like the bad guy to your own fans. But that's what he did. John Lackey looks like a jerk to Red Sox fans. Let's listen one more time. And I'm sorry about the quality, but let's listen one more time.
I'm not even going to comment on him. I got nothing to say about him. There's things I would like to say, but I'm not going to. You guys forget pretty conveniently about stuff.
What are you talking about? We can forget conveniently about stuff. Who forgets about stuff? Did anyone forget that Nelson Cruz was busted for steroids? No, of course not. I didn't forget, and not one person in that room of people you were talking to forgot about that either, John. Okay? No one. What are you saying? Don't hem and haw. What are you saying? I think he's on steroids now. If that's what you're saying, then friggin' say it. Don't blame the media for not remembering. I mean, what does that even mean? Should the media have been in there saying, hey, John, we think Nelson Cruz is on steroids. How about what say you? I mean, no. You say, hey, Nelson Cruz is really hitting you. Oh, you guys sure do forget things when it's convenient. What did we forget? Who forgot? Nobody forgot. You got hit. Stop being a loser. Or at least stop talking like one. He's actually having a good year. Showalter's right. Lackey's having a fine year. What is this crap? I mean, come on, man. You're out there pitching so you're not going to get paid more than $500,000 next year. And you're dropping stuff like that against the guy who might be your teammate someday? I mean, what is the matter with you, Lackey? I understand things aren't going well. You can't just melt down like that. Start throwing out accusations and blaming it somehow on the media for not remembering. What is that? What the hell does that even mean? Who didn't remember? I would love some clarification. 603-883-9900, your phone number, 883-9900. Text in 50352. Take a break from the Red Sox. When we come back, give you some notes from the Kingdoms, Christian and King.
Attention homeowners. I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans, and I have some important information for you regarding the U.S. government's Home Affordable Refinance Program, or HARP. We've told you about HARP in the past, And more than 3 million homeowners have already taken advantage of this money-saving program. But there are so many more of you who could be saving hundreds of dollars every month on your mortgage. And Quicken Loans is here to help you save your money. The home loan experts at Quicken Loans fully understand the HARP guidelines. If you weren't HARP eligible in the past, new guidelines could mean that now you are. Give us a call and we'll give you a Quicken Loans mortgage review. It's simple and easy. And for 4 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Call 800-QUICKEN. That's 800-QUICKEN. Or go to QuickenLoans.com for a mortgage experience that's engineered to amaze.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance costs. For cost information, equalizing lender license in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
From police officers to firefighters to storm chasers, even race car drivers, expert drivers choose Goodyear tires for superior performance.
On and off the road, Goodyear is consistently making improvements to deliver superior performance tires. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires inspires what they roll into yours. It's even the official tire of NASCAR.
Goodyear tires are chosen by those who use the world as their proving ground. So wherever the roads take you, choose Goodyear tires with superior traction and handling.
Visit Goodyear.com to find a great set of tires. Goodyear, more driven.
Hi, Colin Coward for Men's Rogaine Foam, the official hair care sponsor of the 2014 FIFA World Cup. A lot of guys start to notice thinning hair, some earlier than others. But there's something you can do. Use Rogaine Foam. It's proven to help stop hair loss and even regrow hair. Plus, it's easy to use. Apply Rogaine Foam once in the morning and again at night. Takes less than a minute. Just use only as directed. Start using Rogaine Foam today. Save $15 on your next 4-month supply. Go to Rogaine.com and use offer code FIFA14.
The Hanover Street Chop House is taking fine dining in the city of Manchester to a whole new level. We know about the food, the hand-cut steaks, the chops, the fresh fish, but now you can eat like a king at lunchtime as well with their new business lunch, which features 3 courses for just $15. Sip some wine at the piano bar or check out the new Raw Bar every Thursday. It's the Hanover Street Chop House, 149 Hanover Street in Manchester. Place your reservation at 603-644-CHOP. That's 644-2467 or visit HanoverStreetChopHouse.com.
The Nakias Loeb School of Communications is offering a series of free workshops on resume writing and job search skills at Nashua Community College. The sessions will be held on Monday, July 21st, July 28th, and August 4th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. in Room 150 in NCC's main building. Thanks to a generous grant from the Cogswell Benevolent Trust, the sessions are free, but space is limited, so registration is required. For more information or to register, visit www.loebschool.org or call 603-627-0005.
CSA Graphics offers the best screen printing, embroidery, and promotional items in the area. Everything is done in-house, which allows CSA to make just one or thousands of items. Whether it's t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, or uniforms, CSA will increase your brand awareness and get the word out about your company. CSA Graphics considers customer service their top priority. Gary and his staff work directly with you to create your printed version in the most efficient and affordable manner possible.
Call CSA Graphics at 978-577-6427 or visit csagfx.com.
This is ESPN New Hampshire, honored by the New Hampshire Association of Broadcasters as the best station for breaking sports news and best station for live play-by-play in 2013. This is ESPN New Hampshire. Scores, standings, trades, and rumors. This is the ESPN New Hampshire Sports Center.
Winners of 4 in a row and 10 of their last 11. The New Hampshire Fisher Cats look to continue their hot ways as they play a doubleheader tonight at home versus the New Britain Rockcats' first pitch of the double dip at 6:05. This Saturday is the NASCAR Sprint Series race up at Loudon. Make sure you tune in all week long for chances to win tickets. Brian Vickers, last year's winner, knows if he wants to repeat, he's going to have to make some adjustments.
You obviously always feel good coming back to the track. You've won it to an extent, but everything changes so much. I mean, because of all the new rule changes this year to the new car and the no ride heights, I mean, none of the setup's the same. So it's not like we can just throw in last year's setup and go fast. I mean, we have to adapt and change and find a new package to win, just like everyone else.
The Boston Red Sox continue to falter into the summer days as they drop 2 of 3 to the Baltimore Orioles over the weekend, including a 7-6 loss in 12 innings yesterday. The Sox are right back at it tonight as they welcome the Chicago White Sox into town for a 4-game set. First pitch at 7:10 with pregame at 6:25 right here on ESPN New Hampshire. And I'm Rich Flair, and the Sports Center update has been brought to you by Peters of Nashua. For the lowest prices, period, it's Peters of Nashua. Find them online at petersauto.com.
This is the sports station with granite roots. This is ESPN New Hampshire. Christian and King.
Oh, 603-883-9900, your phone number, 883-9900. You can text in 50352. Christian and King here. Christian flying solo with you for the day and for the week here as Tom King on vacation. I would like to say well-earned vacation, but we all know that's not true, so I'm not going to even go there. Anyways, Nashua Silver Knight. We're going to get to Notes from the Kingdom here in just a minute. It's not going to be your typical Notes from the Kingdom as I haven't been most of my experience since I last spoke with you people, all of my Kingdom experience has been lounging in the sun. That was pretty much what I did in the Kingdom. Actually, you know what? I got a story here. We'll do that. We'll do Notes from the Kingdom. I'm going to tell you my story about what happened to me over the 4th, and that's what we're going to do here. All right, here's Notes from the Kingdom.
Message for you, son. King in the castle, king in the castle.
Notes from the Kingdom.
All right, so first of all, a couple of quick notes. Kevin McGowan, Nashua native, working his way up the Mets minor league ladder. You can read all about that in the Nashua Telegraph. George Cioni has a great article about him there. Go check that out in today's edition of the Nashua Telegraph. The Fisher Cats had a very exciting walk-off extra inning win over the Trenton Thunder, and that was over the weekend. Andy Burns with a 2-run homer over the center field fence in the bottom of the 10th, which gave them the 9-7 win over a pretty packed house, 5,158 fans at Northeast Delta Dental Stadium on Sunday. And it was the first time since June 9th that New Hampshire won a game in which it allowed more than 2 runs. How about that? Randy Boone with the win. 2 scoreless innings of relief work as the Fisher Cats overcame 4 errors and were at 2 different times in the game down by 3 runs. Bobby Meacham after the game said we didn't play very good defense behind our pitching staff, but they threw the ball pretty well. Just got to play better defense, keep the runs down. Once again, we got a lot of good efforts out there. Relievers doing good jobs to hold them close so they could come back and win. Win over the Thunder was the second in as many days, helped the Fisher Cats put some distance between themselves in 4th place in the Eastern Division and 5th place Trenton. Up next, Fisher Cats, as Rich Flair told you, will take on 3rd place New Britain with a chance to overtake the Rock Cats. Thanks to 5 games in 4 days, the first 2 games of the series are tonight, a doubleheader starting at 6:05. Fisher Cats have now won 4 in a row, 11 of their last 12 games, allowing more than 2 runs just once. And that was a 7-6 loss at Reading a week ago. The last high-scoring game for both sides, won by New Hampshire, was June 19th, a 7-6 win over Altoona. And that's where we are so far with the Fisher Cats. Silver Knights not doing quite as well. 13-13. And they're in 4th place right now in the West, in the FCBL. Tied with the Torrington Titans, behind the Pittsfield Suns and the Worcester Bravehearts, only ahead of the Wachusett Dirt Dogs. And if they were in the East, they would be in 4th place as well, ahead of just Old Orchard Beach, or OOB as I like to call them, in the North Shore Navigators. They'd be trailing the Seacoast Mavericks and the Brockton Rocks. Their last game was yesterday, where they beat the Raging Tide by a score of 9-4. And that's what's going on with the Nashua Silver Knights. Okay. I'm going to tell you a story about something that happened to me over the weekend. My cousin has 2, I have a very big extended family. And on my father's side, which is who we were spending our time with last night, and my mother's side too, actually, but my father's side's the big part of the family. And I have a cousin who has these 2 little girls, and we gave them late birthday presents on the 4th. Well, it was actually on the 5th. The 4th got rained out, so the 5th is when we had our big family barbecue. And we gave the 2 little girls these presents. One of the girls is, I think, 10, and the other one's 8, or 11 and 8, maybe. Might be getting that wrong. Sorry, Katie and Megan, if you're listening. And the presents were these little 3D puzzles. One was of a fish, and the other one was of an owl. And so I'm doing my thing, you know, when they open the presents, me saying, wow, great, look at those. I love those things. And I do like putting puzzles together. But, you know, I'm making a big deal out of it so the kids think that it's a cool thing to have because, you know, kids think their cousin Christian who's on the radio is just the coolest guy around. Which is sad, I know, but hey, you know how kids are. So anyway, I start making a big deal about how great it is that they have these puzzles. They said, let's do them right now. I said, sure, fine, why not? Let's go do them right now. And so, we go over, clear off a coffee table, and we sit down, and we open the box. Now, this is kind of it's a 3D puzzle, so it's not just like putting pieces into a thing. There's like little wheels, and for the owl, they have all these little feathers and all these things. You got to attach them all together. And so there's 2 of them. So the 8-year-old has the fish, and the 11-year-old has the owl. And my cousin's wife, who is 7 months pregnant, comes over and says, hey, what are you guys doing? I said, we're going to do these puzzles. So she goes, oh, okay, let me help out. And I said, great. So she sits down. Now, keep in mind, she's 7 months pregnant. Has not had a drop of alcohol all day long. Me, on the other hand, I wasn't, hammered or anything, but, it's the 5th of July. It was vacation. We were all having fun. It was not, it was the family around. We're not going to go out and get annihilated, but, we've been relaxing. We've been having a nice little day. And so now I'm sitting there, and my motor skills aren't exactly at 100%, and we're trying to put these puzzles together. Meanwhile, my stone cold sober soon-to-be sister-in-law is sitting there, and they're going through with the fish, and they're just whipping them together, her and the 8-year-old. So I'm stuck there with the 11-year-old, and we're trying to put this owl together. Now, keep in mind, the owl was a lot more complicated of a puzzle than the fish was. But they're just zipping right along with the fish. They got the thing all together, and it looks like a fish. My owl looked like a dragon got into a fight with a bear, and like that was what was left. It was this, it wasn't really coming together all that well. And so you know how kids can get. The 8-year-old starts chirping at me. Wow, our fish looks like a fish. Your owl doesn't even look like a bird. It doesn't even look like anything. What are you guys doing over there? And I'm like, hey, a little less attitude, please. I'm trying my best here, I didn't want to go do these things right now. I was just saying how great it was that you had them. And she's chirping. She's over there. She's like a little Bryce Harper over there chirping at me. And the 11-year-old's chirping back, and then their mother comes over and says, both of you stop, and they stop. So they stop. And the 11-year-old looks at me like, well, come on, we got to finish this owl here. They're embarrassing us over there. And I'm trying, I'm sitting here trying to put slot A into the, to get the feathers together, and they have these little googly eyes. I'm trying to set the eyes and everything's falling apart. And they're over there with this big, beautiful fish, and I can't get anything going. And then all of a sudden, the 11-year-old turns on me too. So now it's just everybody sitting there. I'm trying to help with this owl. The 2 girls are both saying, that doesn't look like an owl. And I'm like, well, come on, give me a break. We're all in this together. This is a nice family fun thing. It was not a nice family fun thing. I all of a sudden was taking it from all sides. I have the pregnant sister-in-law saying, what are you doing over there? I got the 8-year-old telling me it looks like a dragon. I got the 11-year-old jumping ship going over to work on the fish. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting here stuck with this owl. And I finally just said, you know what? Screw this. I don't want to do this anymore. I dropped it there on the table. I said, you want to make the owl, make the owl. I'm out. I'm done. I have had it with this owl. I've had it with this whole scene. Okay? I'm done. No more. And they're like, oh, no, come back. I said, no, you blew. I don't want to do this anymore. I've had enough. I'm on vacation. I don't need this. I don't need to be made to feel bad about myself by an 8-year-old and 11-year-old. And it was happening. I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like going faster and it's getting worse. Like I'm trying to assemble the pieces faster so it looks more like the fish. And then like the feet fell off and then the head fell off. And I'm just finally just threw them all up in the air and said, forget it. Stormed out of the room. I had to go into the kitchen and like catch my breath. Kids can be mean, man. And I love these 2 little girls. They're the greatest. They're absolutely the greatest. But they were sort of competing with each other, The 8-year-old wanted to do it faster than the 11-year-old. They're doing it faster. And then that created this whole thing. And then, here we are. And then, dumb cousin Christian can't get the owl together. And so I finally just gave up. I threw in the towel. I'm not proud of this, but I did. I said, forget it. You want to assemble the owl? Go ahead. I'm done. That's it. Wipe my hands clean. And I'm telling you about it now. There's my note from the kingdom. Tense times up at Lake Winnipesaukee. No, we had a great time, though. It was a lot of fun. And hopefully the owl did get assembled. I certainly was no help. But that fish looked great. All right, coming up in hour number 2, we'll be joined by David Lorla from Fangraphs. He will jump on with us at 1:30. And we will discuss with him several things. Actually, no, I'm sorry. We'll talk to him at 2 o'clock. At 1:30, we'll talk with Mike Loiko, NEPatriotsDraft.com. And the main reason is because I can't talk about these Red Sox anymore. I just can't. I'm so up to my ears with these Red Sox. There's nothing more to say. How many different ways can you say they stink? We'll talk about them at 2 o'clock, and we'll talk mostly about trade options. 1:30, though, we'll talk Patriots. We'll talk NFL in general with Mike Loico. And a pretty damning picture of Johnny Manziel released over the weekend. I'll tell you what it's a picture of next. Don't go anywhere. Christian and King, hour number 2 up next.
Steak and cheese fans, listen up. Quiznos Subs on Main Street in Nashua just came out with the Vince Special, which is a large spicy steak bomb for only $8.49. You get actual black Angus steak with Genoa salami, mozzarella, sauteed onions and peppers, and chipotle mayo. So grab the Vince Special, large spicy steak bomb today at Quiznos on Main Street in Nashua.
Quiznos Subs. Toasty.
Hey folks, Tom Rowe here for the good people at Infinity of Nashua. Right now at Infinity of Nashua, they're home to one of the most unique automobiles on the planet. The 2014 Q50 all-wheel drive hybrid gets an astounding 30 miles per gallon with a powerful 360 horsepower engine that gives you the performance you demand from a luxury vehicle. The 2014 Q50 all-wheel drive hybrid is priced, get this, below $50,000.